I started doing my hair, which I have not done in a long time. I haven't just braided my hair for the sake of braiding my hair. It's usually been to record a video, and now I'm doing it again, but I'm not taking this all too serious. Okay, quite frankly, my fiance told me that it is for Lunar New Year, for Chinese New Year. We shouldn't wash our hair because we will be washing away the wealth. And my family doesn't exactly celebrate any Lunar or Chinese New Year, even though well, Filipinos, I don't think it's very common. But since he told me, I'm just gonna entertain it. We want wealth. And I have hula tomorrow anyway, so my hair could use a thorough washing afterward. So we're gonna put off washing the hair with my braids. I already got one done, and when it comes to these braids, I usually use like edge control, but today I won't use it because I saw this other video. My brain is just going all over the place, but I saw this video of this hula dancer, and she also does Tahitian, I believe. And she did a TikTok of her prepping her hula braids or her hula hair. It looks like it already got braided, and then she just brushed it out. And that's usually how we obtain big hula hair. And for some reason, anytime I did my own hula hair, I never brushed it out to get that fullness and that big poofiness of our hair. So really, I'm just doing it. I'm braiding my hair so that I can take it out and brush it out. And I will have legit hula hair for my hula class tomorrow. And my hair will be out of the way at work while they're in these braids. And I'm not taking it all too seriously because I'm not adding any product. Plus, when you add product in the hair, anything moisturizing or any edge control, it's gonna leave residue to where when you brush it out, it's not gonna give that poofiness that we're looking for. So that's that on that. But the reason why I wanted to turn on the camera today is because on Instagram, I actually changed my Instagram handle from Phoenix Crowns to my actual name, Christina Maria Agoncillo. For a long time, I haven't really resonated with, actually from the very beginning, if I'm being quite transparent, I didn't resonate with the name Phoenix Crowns, but I had a braid mentor, and she was a lovely braid mentor. I feel like we aligned in various ways. We would speak the same ways, like very spiritual, very ethereal. I don't even know how to describe it. A little bit flowery, but there was always truth to whatever we're saying. And it'd be very poetic anytime we would talk, anytime we would text. So I am able to tap into that version of myself, but it wasn't my truest version of myself. Although, like, there was truth behind it, if that made sense. I say this all to say that when I was under her mentorship, we did a name change from my original name, which, to be honest, I know I didn't have enough conviction when it came to like standing by the name that I created and not having to have a disclaimer before saying what my hair brand name was. And my hair brand name used to be Crimapago Crowns. Even now, it doesn't really roll off the tongue. Crimapago, that's like my entire name amalgamated into one. And I came up with that when I was in like middle school or elementary school. So I took like the first few letters of each of my names. I have 4 names between my first, middle, and last name. And I put them all together. So that's how we got to Crimapago. It just became my signature. I would sign my art with it. I would just use it everywhere. I feel like if I still make art, I will still sign it with a Crimapago. When I hopped onto the streaming platform Kumu, it's a Filipino streaming platform that I joined, it was like 2021 when I joined. That was my username in the platform. That's how friends you would make, that's how they would address you. Whatever your username is. It's always easiest to call you by that name unless they learn your actual name. But if you never reach that level of friendship, then they just call you your username. So sometimes people would call me Krima. And some people that I met on Hulu, they still call me Krima. So I felt like there was a sense of identity still attached to it. And I carried that over to my Instagram pages, both my hair and my art page. When I came under the mentorship of my friend, there was a need she called in a play for me to change my name and change it like immediately. And oh my gosh, the amount of resistance there was. I felt so much resistance when she kind of suggested that. The way we arrived at Phoenix actually was through like a guided meditation that she led. It was just one of these words that kind of popped up when I had visualized my higher self. Like I came out of the meditation and I spoke to her. She said, "This is the word that came up. It was Phoenix." And boy, was she gassed up. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this the name that we want? I know I just had so much reluctance to change, but she had told me by the end of tonight, like, make that change on your page. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. It didn't feel right, but also I don't know if it was a mix between it not feeling right or I was just resistant to change and there needed to be change. And honestly, there did need to be some change. Like if I'm not convicted with the name that I had given myself, which was Krimapago Crowns or whatever it was, and I felt compelled to explain myself before even stating my name, then there was very good reason to follow her guidance, despite there being some fear and just uncertainty with making that move. When I researched more into the folklore, I resonated with the ideology of it and and all the symbolism of phoenixes. So when I started to dissect and kind of pull or like extract those symbols and the meanings behind it, then there was a little bit more things to get behind with that name change. And that name change occurred, I think, 2022. And that's also when I started hair school. I went to cosmetology school. And I think I felt like I was a little bit ahead of the game when it came to my peers in cosmetology school because I had that page. I was establishing a brand, but under the mentorship, I was working or seen as somebody that came under the wings of my mentor. So that like I kind of fit her brand. I was just kind of running with it because I thought I needed to have that bit of authority over me so that I can have that guidance. I just found a lot of justification for me to just keep that name. And then I had, business cards made. I worked at pop-ups under that name and I had banners and everything and really started to build that out. But there was always that bit of resistance. And although I was into the mythological, the spiritual aspects of it, it always felt very distant from what my family would understand. My parents they're Filipino, just a different generation. So the spirituality aspect of it was just like, okay, cool, like my sister, she totally was like on a similar frequency. But you know what? Okay, what it was I know my family was always supportive of whatever I was building. But when I would personally hear them talk about my brand, Phoenix Crowns, like I didn't even feel like they were talking about my brand. Like they didn't really belong to me. And when my family, when they're getting excited about my work and they want to share it with friends, I want it to feel like they're talking about something that belongs to me and that I'm building. I know that sounds like kind of selfish, but the hope that I was trying to lean on that made me believe that I was okay with keeping this name was that eventually I'm going to be building something bigger than myself, which is the ultimate goal for sure. But the direction that the name Phoenix Crowns was paving the vision, it didn't feel like it fully aligned with me. I'm not saying like the vision was bad. I'm not saying like it stood for anything not to be proud of at all. But you want it to feel like it's your baby. And I don't think it ever really felt like it was my baby. It feels like someone gave me something that was meant to be temporary. It was nice and it served its purpose, but in the long run, that's not actually what I'm building. And for years, from 2022 up until 2025, I guess 2026 now, I think I'm more inclined to just like shed that version of me and just be thankful for everything that it's taught me and the experiences that it gave me. Kind of like the year of the snake. It's just one of those things that you shed, but it's not because of the bad that it's ever brought me. It's just that you start to outgrow that version and that set of skin, just like any snake of nature, you know? And I say snake because last Chinese New Year is the year of the snake. I do not follow it very keenly, but one of my friends had just posted some information on the symbolism behind the year of the snake and just give some perspective on what this year could have meant for us and everything. So that's why I'm using that language. But yeah, that's just kind of the background behind Phoenix Crowns and then the direction that I'm taking it and why I'm transitioning over to using my real name. Even my real name, it's kind of like what I wanted to touch on a little bit is that my name is Christina Marie Agoncillo. Palace is my mom's maiden name and it's also my middle name, hence Crema Pago. I had posted recently on Instagram just like a poll. How do we feel if I were to change my name to my real name instead of keeping Phoenix Crowns? It's like useful feedback. I'm just very curious to tune in to what the viewers are and the followers are thinking and what they're saying. And I did have a couple more votes to keep Phoenix Crowns, but deep in my heart, when I saw that there was still a good amount of people that were totally supportive of me changing to my real name, I was just looking for confirmation bias, I guess, and I stuck with it. And one of my friends, he's a fellow barber, he also gave some input saying that it was actually a very liberating thing to change to his real name because he had used something else for his barbering. And because his barbering consists of both his personality and his work, both in the shop and just like him as a person, I totally saw that transition and I really valued and respect his input. He did also give some insight on how I should probably just do Christina and drop the Marie. And I totally get it. It's way easier to say. It rolls off the tongue. You look at a lot of other entrepreneurs and big name people in their fields and industries, and it is an easy name to say. It's just two parts usually. Myron Golden, Tony Robbins. My mentor, Omar Altakrori, it's just his first name and then his last name. I actually haven't researched other people who have longer names. There are probably some actresses and actors that, you know, like Jennifer Love Hewitt or something. That's a little longer. But names like that, he did suggest like maybe I should just keep Christina Agoncillo and drop the Marie. And it's funny because I've always had a bit of an identity crisis starting in college because growing up, I always went by my nickname, Tina. No one would ever call me Christina. My family, my friends, my sister's friends, my sister, my cousins, they always called me by my nickname. And then for some reason, once I entered college, it just started to happen. I just started to introduce myself as Christina. In the middle of college, I remember my second year of college, I was still introducing myself as Tina. When I had tried to join a sorority, I introduced myself as Tina. So a lot of them got to know me as Tina. And then I ended up ending that pledgeship and then repledging again the following year and introducing myself as Christina to the same organization. So I had some people call me Tina and then the newer people that I introduced myself to as Christina. So there's this like weird confusion happening and it was this whole thing. But that was one of the ways I was like solidifying my name Christina as what people address me as. And then from then on, I graduated, my later friends in the workplace, they started calling me Christina, and it just stuck. So I always started to go by my full name. I don't go by Christina Marie, but the reason why I want to keep it in my name now is the story actually goes back to when I was second or third grade, I think. Because in grade school, they will only take your first part of your first name. So my full first name is Christina Marie. But in grade school, just to make things simpler, they'll only take like the first part of your first name. And this whole time, both me and my sister were under the impression that the second part of our first name was our middle name, like legally. You fill out a form and then they ask for like middle initial, they ask for your middle name, then I would put Marie. And then she would put the second part of her first name. And then there was a time where I was having a conversation with my mom. And then when she learned that we were doing this, she was like, no, your first name is Christina Marie. Marie is not your middle name. Marie is part of your first name. Your middle name is my maiden name. You're not gonna all of a sudden just drop your middle name for like no reason. And both me and my sister, oh shoot, we don't just ignore and drop that part of our name. It's legally our middle name. So the fact that I'm knowingly choosing to keep Marie as a part of my identity is an indirect nod to my mom and acknowledging that her maiden name is my middle name. And we're dropping it just like that. We're not keeping it all entirely in my name that I'm kind of making as a part of my brand. My awareness to keep Christina Marie is my way of knowing that, no, Mom, I know that we're not just gonna drop these names out of nowhere. We're knowingly keeping my middle name and your maiden name as my middle name, and then fully embracing the full first name that you gave me. Wow, that was long-winded. I'm so sorry. There is like a whole nother layer to this that I don't know if it's too deep to get into, but I guess I should just like try and get into it. I don't know if you've ever looked up the etymology of your name, the origin of your name, especially like in grade school, or I don't know, when the internet started to come out and you had the ability to see, oh, what does my name mean? I remember both me and my sister's name, it means the same thing. When I looked it up, I was like, oh, this is okay. Like nothing like super exciting. So Christina, it means Christ bearer. And as like a 9-year-old or 7, I don't know how old I was when I looked that up. Christ bearer doesn't have much gravity to it when you're young. It's like, dang, what does that even mean? Like, I'm physically, like, bearer. I didn't even know what bearer was. Carrier, I guess. When my mom explained the definition of bearer, you carry something, you bear something. I was imagining in my head, I was like physically carrying like baby Jesus or something. So you can imagine the visuals were not helping the excitement of what my name could mean. But just yesterday, with the help of a little conversation with ChatGPT and getting a little bit of insight on my name, I gained a new appreciation for my name about being Christ bearer. As I come like deeper and deeper into my faith and learn more about God and Jesus and just trying to become a better person, I realize that I have this responsibility to be exemplary of who I think Christ is. And I'm able to, no, I missed the hair. That's fine. I'm given this life and this opportunity to find all these ways to be more Christ-like. And it's literally embedded into my name. During my whole spiritual journey before I really like came into being a follower of Christ, there was a lot of, I guess, seeking purpose and understanding what my highest self is, a lot of spirituality. But now I'm seeing that my highest self is how I become more and more like Christ and just take on a perspective that is of service to people, puts kindness first, sees everything through the lens of love. I don't even know how to go really deep into it, but whatever you imagine is more Christ-like, that's what I'm trying to deepen within myself. Now I have this justification of the path that I want to go on and the ability and power that I have in my name. And I'm just finding more and more power behind this name that I used to be like, oh, it just means this, and it just means Christ bearer. Like, no, now this awareness is like, wow, I've been gifted with such a cool path and a cool mission, and my name is just a nice little reminder of it. And just to put cherry on top of that, Marie is similar to Mary in its etymology, and it means chosen one and beloved. I am I'm chosen and beloved by God to have this awareness and this understanding that I'm able to just carry with me as I do some crazy, amazing, immensely impactful things on my life journey. And the sky's the limit. Like, heavens are the limit, because now I have God on my side. I have my dreams kind of in my back pocket. And now it's all a matter of just taking these itty bitty steps forward to carry out whatever this dream that God has for me and whatever he's placed in me, and just make it happen. And it's like in my name now. So that's so sick. And yeah, that's really what I wanted to come on here to explain, how there is a lot of excitement around being able to acknowledge and thank and be grateful for Phoenix crowns and everything that I was able to experience and be taught and be enlightened by in that version of myself. But now, as I try to build myself, build my personal brand, and build this new version of myself, it's actually not even a building. It's more of like an unveiling and peeling back the layers, because I don't know if it's exactly a discovery more than an excavation. Ooh, that's a bar. Like, I mean, there's still discovery in excavation, but it's not really like it's not a coming into a new person. It's more just a deepening and getting more profound understanding of what I'm on this planet to do. And it's so dope. Side note, I'm really grateful for like the mornings, these past 2 mornings where I have been able to journal and just kind of channel everything that's going on up here, in here, and onto the page, just to have a little bit more clarity on what's going on. So if you haven't started already, you should start journaling, because I want to make that a more regular practice, because I am coming to such beautiful revelations through the couple of times that I've done it, these past 2 times. Although I have many notebooks that I've, written in and journaled my thoughts, but it wasn't really much of a regular practice. But I'm excited to make time for it, because God's speaking, and I'm just trying to listen. I'm trying to channel and quiet the noise and let the writing allow me to converse with God. Anyway, thank you to everybody that has been supporting me from the Krimapago Crowns days to the Phoenix Crown days, and now to me coming into my own as Christina Marie Agoncillo. I'm so grateful for your support, your love, for those that have been in my chair and the ones that are cheering me on in the sidelines. It means a ton, and I can't help but smile and just be so grateful for this little life that's actually really big, and I'm so excited to see what grand things are in store. I don't know if that was a podcast episode, but if it was, let's just put it on there. It is still tending the soil and me doing my best to steward what I'm, like, the knowledge that I'm obtaining, the wisdom that I'm getting, and share it with anybody that wants to listen and possibly go on their own path. But yeah, before I get sidetracked again, just thank you for sticking around, and stay tuned for what's to come. That was Tending the Soil podcast, and I'll catch you in the next one.